Yep, talking about Expedition 33 just sold 1 million copies. How far ago was this? 19, I think it was 19 hours ago, huh? Yes, that's 19 hours. 19 hours ago, this game sold 1 million copies. um, Granted, this is a good thing. Game studios will never announce how many copies they sold if they weren't proud of it. Um, this game is amazing. This game is amazing. This might be a short. You know what? I'm gonna do a review too, but I do want to say I've always been excited for this game. I mean, I think I have like two reaction videos a long time ago, but I've been waiting for this game since it was announced, and it's surprising because I'm on Game Pass, but I've never played a turn-based game in my life. This is the first turn-based game I've ever played, and it did not disappoint at all. I'm like 11 hours in, and I have not gotten bored. And I'm going to replay it and replay the side stuff on the game that I haven't touched yet. But this is another point. Let me go to a video before I start yapping. Cuz most games I feel like um they don't. All right, here we go. A lot of games nowadays don't respect their audience. And what I mean by that is what's going on? Yeah. A lot of games nowadays don't respect their audience. And what I mean by that is like this game costs $50. This game costs $50 and is better than 90% of AAA $70 games. And it's one of the things where it's like I play Expedition and it's kind of like weird because like this game should not be costing $50. Now it being on Game Pass, that's completely fine because it is an Xbox title, and it's a good way to get players in. But I think the reason this game costs $50, which is pretty smart, is because it's a game that it's a new IP, so it's basically asking for you to try it, and that's what people did, and now it's breaking, it's exceeding their expectations based on what they said. It took them. It's 30 people working on this game too, and in 5 years they've made this game. Concord took like 10 years with a multi-billion dollar studio backed up behind them, which is PlayStation, and their game died in 8 days. I wonder if PlayStation saw Expedition in the future, would they still go to make Concord? If they saw The Last of Us Factions failed, would they still make that, or the God of War live action the God of War live action live service thing? I said live action. The God of War live service that canceled. Would they still try to make these games? Would Ubisoft make X Defiant if they knew they could just do Expedition? Because I I don't know. Like this game, it feels so shocking. Like truth be told, this game is a 10 out of 10 to me. I'm 11 hours in, I haven't beat it yet, but so far it's a 10 out of 10. I mean, I have no problems with this game. I have literally zero flaws. This reminds me of games like Elden Ring, um, Gears of War 3, Shadow of Colossus. These are just games where it's like Liza P is another one where just like RE4 remake, where it's like this is really gaming. And to be fair, I don't think the $50 price tag has anything to do with the it being like, oh, it's $50. It's not up there with Elden Ring. I think it's $50 because it's a new IP, and I think it's very smart of them to do that. It's $50 and it's on Game Pass. I think it was trying to do everything in its power for you just to play it. I think Sandfall Entertainment has now, with just this game, put themselves in a guaranteed good game studio. And it's literally that simple. A lot of games can do that. What's that? From Software did that with their first Souls like. It boosted it into the stratosphere easily. Gears of War was the first game they did, and everyone trusted Gears of War until, 5. Um, what's a? It's just another thing where you hear people say like the gaming industry is dead. I'm hearing people like defend Mario Kart for $80. This is what I mean when I say like Mario Kart shouldn't be $80. When you have games like Expedition 33 that can sell their game for $50 confidently, and it's obviously way more resource heavy and larger than Mario Kart. Mario Kart is a racing game with pre-used assets. This is a new IP with no pre-used assets from nothing. They have big time actors doing voice acting. The art style, the world is off the fucking charts. You have games like Space Marine, Wukong, Elden Ring, Stellar Blade, and the list goes on and on and on. There's no reason to defend an $80 game. They're just doing it because they can, and they know you buy it. Expedition could have easily charged $80 for it, and no one would have questioned is $80 worth the quality. But they did not, because one, it's not greediness. Now, will their next title cost 80? Most likely, it probably has to. It's going to be what? Probably another 5 years to the next game. It might be shorter than that. Like, that's another thing I'm so surprised on. It took them 5 years to make this, and we can't even get a God of War or a Spider-Man or a Gears of War or Halo in that time with 30 people. I think this just has to do with like they wanted to make a video game. They had a direction. There was no big corporate heads telling you can't do this, you can't do that. They was probably clocking in 10-hour days because now they're at a point where it's like people love this studio. This game has getting nothing but straight love. I'm hearing masterpieces throw out, and I agree. This game is nothing short of a masterpiece. This is the closest you're going to get to a masterpiece. It's insane. I mean, and the reason I'm so shocked, it's like, oh, you've never act like you've never played a good game before. I've never played a turn-based game in my life. Actually, that's a lie. I've tried turn-based games. I've never liked them. I've played Persona. I didn't like that. I've played Metaphor and Fantasia. I didn't jive with that. And them are the only two I've played, but they've never been my cup of tea. This is just an action. This is just a turn-based action game. This game actually has you at all times in combat playing. All times. You can't pause during combat. On the enemy side, you cannot pause. And I like that because it's engaging. With turn-based, you could just put your controller down, go cook something, come back. With this game, like, it's so here and there in the moment. You're looking at everything. You're memorizing patterns. You're doing math. You're reading things. You're thinking 5 turns ahead. It's like you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Now that I think about it, they could make a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. I don't know about this team, but that'd be pretty sick, actually. That'd be very cool because they could easily do it. But this is a genre-defining game. If I'm being completely honest, this is a genre-defining game. This is a game that I hope AAA studios look at and like, why don't we just pump 100 of these out? And what I mean by 100 of these, I don't mean turn-based. I mean detailed, 10 out of 10 art style, 10 out of 10 characters, 10 out of 10 story. It's not even a small scope, but it's focused. And it's not like Ubisoft where it's like every month it feels like you're hearing something different. You're hearing about an NFT game. You're hearing about Star Wars Outlaws, and then X Defiant, and you're hearing about Assassin's Creed. And it's like, why are you pumping out so many titles? They're not focused on anything. Same thing with PlayStation. You hear about PlayStation's bigger, but it's about the studios they own. PlayStation's not focused either. They used to be the game that focused on big solo story mode games. That's what made them. And now it's like now they're trying to do pump out live service to an extreme degree, and it's hurting them more than it helps. But yeah, it is weird because I don't think this game is so weird because it's weird that it exists in this space, in a space where we do get good games. I'm not going to say that. I only play good games. I don't play bad games. Um, or I don't finish bad games. I do play them. But you look at something like Avowed. Look at something like Avowed. And I've seen people like defend Avowed, and I did not defend Avowed. I straight up said Avowed was trash. Um, and this is one of the reasons I said Avowed was trash. Oh, I lost to this boss. But when I reviewed Avowed, I said it was trash. I said people were being too nice to it because I look at games around its area. I look at Expedition 33. It's simple that that Avowed is simply just lazy in terms of things it could do. And you see that with the Oblivion remaster that I've also played. It's like, how can you defend certain games? Now, it's okay to say Avowed, that you like Avowed for what it is, but to say Avowed couldn't be better or shouldn't be better is insane. And I'm not saying Avowed has to be Oblivion, but Avowed just lack things that a basic game should have. A lot of games lack things that a basic game should have. This game has so many cutscenes, but it's also balanced out with way more gameplay. You're telling me Avowed couldn't do that? Avowed has the most basic, same thing with Starfield, the most basic NPC staring at the camera, talking like they're reading off a piece of paper. This game, you're just following a story. You're just following a story, and it has very good cutscenes. They could have easily did the NPC stare at the camera. No, they're moving, they're talking. They really love this game, and I love it too, man. I'm 11 hours in. I got hella parts out. I'm not even near done. I mean, the story so far is like beautiful. Beautiful. It hurts. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the story hurts. Um, yeah, I mean, this is a review mixed in with a congratulations. But like, you know what's also another thing that's so great about Expedition is like, you know they're gonna make another game. And you know they're gonna make it pretty fast too. Because they made this game in 5 years. Obviously, there's going to be companies who are worth multi-million dollars coming at them, Sandfall Entertainment, saying, "Hey, you want to work together?" And I doubt they'll say no. I mean, you don't need it. You don't need it, but this is backed up by Xbox. But maybe they become an Xbox partner for the rest of their life. As long as Xbox don't try to interfere with their creative decisions, I feel like there's no problem with that. That's the real problem is when you make a game and then you have studios or, higher ups telling you what to do or what the game should be. This is a $50 title with no microtransactions, no weird shit. It's just straight story. And it's crazy that it's being successful according to them. I mean, of course it's successful. You don't announce a game numbers if it's not successful. And it's like I look at other games like Starfield was one of the things I said about Starfield that still sits with me, that I still believe to this day, is that if they took Starfield and they shrunk all the planets down and just had like 5 of them and had big cities in the town, I think you would have had a way more successful game. Because it's not about having your game be larger or bigger. It's about having things to do. And that's what this game is. They don't have needless side missions that don't reward you with rewarding stuff. Everything you're doing in this game is worth it. Like, and yes, big open worlds should exist. This game is open world to an extent. It is open world to an extent. But it's more like area based, but still open world. But like even in the worlds, you're doing shit 24/7. You're fighting a new enemy. They have so many enemy types with not even reused animations, not reused attack patterns. Every enemy is unique. Um, it's just rare to see. I mean, I was hyped from this game since day one. And to say like I've heard like it's another thing like I mean obviously I play on Xbox. I've always played on Xbox for my whole life. Um, but it's not surprising to see because I mean I know people shit on Xbox, but they do have good titles. They have Any Jones. They have Expedition. They have Oblivion. Remaster. They had Hi-Fi Rush. They had Ninja Gaiden 2. They do have good titles. Uh, I don't know. It's just so shocking to see that a game could be this. I haven't played a game like this in a while. I've never played a turn-based game. Like I said, the last game I felt this excited for was probably like Space Marine. And Space Marine is just as good too. I do think this game is better than Space Marine. Mainly because Space Marine is like it doesn't have my biggest complaint with Space Marine is like the story. I didn't really like the story in Space Marine. It wasn't bad, but it could have been a lot better. They are Marines, but you just go around smashing monsters. My favorite, but to be fair, the best game I felt like this was probably Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy was the next game. Was before this Hogwarts Legacy. I loved Hogwarts Legacy. Um, but yeah, just to wrap it up, if I had to rate Expedition, I'm 11 hours in. Um, I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10. I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10. It has zero flaws. It has zero flaws. I might not agree with some of the story choices, mainly because they hurt, and I don't like to feel sad. But other than that, this game is a 10 out of 10, bro. This game is a 10 out of 10 for $50. Every time you say Mario Kart is worth $80, I want you to think about Expedition 33. And then ask yourself if you still believe that. But that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Peace. I seen the video and goodbye.